Welcome to Bougie and Boring, a spa business podcast. I'm Amanda, your coach and a fellow spa owner. I help estheticians create a business that is elevated and effortless, or what I like to call bougie and boring. If you want a spa that pays you well and does not depend on you 24/7, you're in the right place. Let's get right into it. Hello, spa owner. I want to talk to you today about Q1. And this is something I want to start doing every quarter, at the end of every quarter, just to kind of give a little bit of a debrief, because I think that it's really important that we share with each other what's going on in the spa business and spa businesses, because it can feel really lonely. And I want to give you some things to think about and kind of show you examples of what I do in my spa and what has worked, what's not worked. It's not to say that it will work or won't work for you, but this is just to inspire you and help you to come up with some new, fun, creative ways to either win or learn something new in your business. Okay, so I'm going to talk about what went well, what I learned, what I focused on, and then what I plan on continuing to focus on, or the new things I'm planning on focusing on in Q2, which is essentially it's the busiest time of our year, at least for my spa. Q2 and a little bit of Q3. So I think where I want to start is just to let you know that I follow the philosophy that I learned from one of my coaches that I absolutely love and adore. Her name is Daniela Warner. She is an incredible spa coach that I did have the pleasure of not just working with, but working for. And I learned from her something called a win or a learn. And, life is always giving us lessons, and what we do with those lessons is going to determine the outcome of those lessons, of what's going to actually come of those things. And we can take them and like become, have this victim mentality about it, or we can take them and get curious, which is actually one of my core values, is be curious. And so I'm going to kind of title these in my head as either a win or a learn. And the first win, I'll start with the wins, and then I'll kind of talk about the learns, and then I want to share with you the questions that I ask myself at the end of every quarter in case you want to do this, and the things that I ask myself in case you want to do something similar with your own spa. Okay? So the first thing I'm going to mention is a win that I am so freaking excited for. I literally just got back from a little brunchy date with my hubby, and we talked all about it. And I'm so lucky to have a partner in life that is just as excited about my business as I am. And so we had brunch, and I told him all about this amazing facial that I got from his cousin. So I guess my cousin-in-law, I don't know if that's how that works, but it's his cousin, and she is an esthetician in California. If you didn't know, I was born and raised in California. I moved to Illinois 10 years ago for my husband's job, and I started a spa called the Beach House, inspired by California and all the things that I love and adore about California. And so we went home for my youngest son's first birthday to celebrate that. And I ended up getting a facial from my husband's cousin, and oh my gosh, shout out to Rocio, because if you're ever in Torrance, California, this girl gave me the dreamiest facial. Oh my gosh. I literally didn't want to get up off of the bed. I was like, what just happened? I left feeling so inspired and so rejuvenated, and honestly kind of excited to get back to my spa, because I want to tell my team all about this. And I actually, at the time that this recording is going out or is going on air, I will have already told my team about it, and I am planning on just implementing these they're just small little tweaks and upgrades that are so freaking luxurious. I was blown away. I just about lost it on her table because I couldn't believe, and I think I kind of did. She was like, what's happening? She's like, "Oh, it's just this and this." And I'm like, "Oh my God, I am gagging. This is so delicious." Like, it's just so dreamy. I just don't have any other word other than it was just so dreamy and I loved it. So the point that I'm trying to make is that as spa owners, we forget sometimes how to be a client and what it means to be a client. And I don't know about you, but I sometimes just get so stuck in the numbers and so stuck in the goals. I'm very, very goal oriented and driven in this way. And so sometimes I forget to ground myself in my own body and be a client. I mean, it was like down to her spa robes that were just like the squishiest, plushiest, softest robes ever. And I'm like, how do you keep these so in such great shape? Like, these are amazing. So just don't forget to be a client, I think, is like the ultimate thing. And I was so inspired by everything I experienced there. So get a facial that reminds you of why you are doing this, and because it can create this like really wonderful experience for your clients because you know how much it matters. And you're going to be able to keep raising the standard of your own spa experience when you get these things done. So I came home and immediately started thinking, and I mean, I went back to my mother-in-law's house and I started thinking about all the different ways that I want to upgrade and all the different things that I want to use. And I mean, I even pulled inspiration from the things that I was seeing around me in California, because I mean, 10 years is a long time to be away from the place that you grow up. A lot changes. And so I want to pull a lot of that back and bring it back into my spa. And I don't know, I came at it from such a different perspective and it was so lovely. And I just want to encourage anybody that if you haven't had a facial or had an experience at a spa recently, and by recently, I mean like within the last year at least, keep in mind, I have been either like pregnant, in the newborn phase, postpartum for the last 3 to 4 years. So I just have not been able to like catch my breath. And because of that, it just didn't feel like it was something that was possible. But then I went back to California, went back home, and we have our village over there. We have our support system. And so I had people to watch the kiddos that I could trust, that I could like leave them with. And I got to go just enjoy myself. And so I think that also had a lot to do with it too, maybe. I don't know. But it was so inspiring and exactly what I needed to just like replenish my cup. And I have this saying where, you know how everyone says, don't pour from an empty cup, or you can't pour from an empty cup. I always say you should pour from your saucer so that, you know, your cup runneth so over that you pour from your saucer. And so if you can't pour from your saucer, then you need to keep filling your cup. Does that make sense? So like until your cup runneth over with overflow, then you can give that overflow to someone else that needs it. So that was like a really big win. I'm so excited because of all these things that and these are like $20,000 worth of upgrades that we're going to be making that are just so insane and dreamy and like luxurious. And I can't even freaking wait. But because of that, and because of a couple other reasons, just in general, I am going to be raising our prices at the beginning of the summer because that's our busiest time of the year. And what I am choosing to do, and if you like this idea, you're more than welcome to do it as well. So we have a membership at my spa, and I'm choosing to increase all the prices of everything. And what I will say right now, before I go further with this story, is everything right now in my business is priced in such a way that we always do really well in profit. However, with the state of everything, we are still doing very well. That's another thing. In Q1, I looked at our numbers for Q1 last year and Q1 this year, and we did significantly better, like by double digits in percentages better than last year in our booking percentage. So we were more booked, which means we brought in more revenue, which means we all got to take home more money. And it was so nice. And I want to continue to pour into our members. I want all roads to lead back to my membership. And because of that, I am going to be increasing the prices of everyone except our members. And the reason for this is because I know that if we were fully booked with members and all of their things, that we would be able to very comfortably, everyone on the team would be able to comfortably take home bonuses and be able to just live a very comfortable life. And so if someone doesn't want to be a member, that's totally fine, but they have to, they don't get to pay the member price or get any of the member perks. And so all of these things that I learned from my cousin-in-law is essentially what I will be bringing back to our members and spoiling our members with. I'm talking I can't even, without giving too much away, because I haven't even told my team what I'm going to be doing. I'm actually going to be getting everything. This is really probably what I'm most excited for in Q2, but I am going to be purchasing everything that Rocio did. Not everything, but the things that we don't already do, or the things that I thought were just so luxurious and dreamy. And I'm going to be putting it all together in one of my treatment rooms. And I'm going to tell the girls, don't come in this room because it's top secret and I want to surprise you guys. And then I'm going to bring them in. I'm going to be like, okay, this is the vision. Let me give you a facial. Let me show you how this is working. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see their reaction. I'm literally just so giddy with this excitement. So I want to increase the pricing of all of our services. And then I'm going to be like, but if you want the price to remain the same, you can join our membership, because I'm really, really trying to drive our membership and just have that consistent revenue that allows everyone to benefit from it. We benefit from it. The client benefits from it. And and it's just the client facials that are going to be benefiting from everything that I learned at this experience getting a facial in California. So those are the two big things. I did mention, actually 3 big things. So I did mention that the team booking percentage was some of the highest booking percentages that I've ever had in business. And it's just historically a slower season for spas, right? So it felt really significant when I looked and I saw that we had increased by over 15% in booking percentages. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. And I feel like it really, honestly, I feel so good about the team and how we're just flowing so well as a team, and we're vocalizing anything that we have or anything that comes up, and we've maximized basically our whole team. And so now we're going to be able to start looking into, doing other things as a team, like hiring support staff, which is something I want to do in Q2. And I also want to start implementing this new, I guess it's a new facial, but I want it to be like the membership facial, where when you're a member, only members get this top-notch, luxury, dreamy facial. And so it's just so nice to feel so clear about what I want. And when I was thinking about, a lot of people do words of the year, and I take that very seriously. And for the life of me, I could not think of my word of the year for 2026 for this year. And a word that kept coming up for me was focus. It's just clarity and focus. I am always trying to just have clarity And so that was kind of one of my learns for Q1, is that I feel like I finally got clear on the direction that we're going in the business. And it felt really difficult this year, or at least in Q1, it felt extremely difficult for me to navigate being like a mom and also being a small business owner to two really awesome businesses that it feels like both businesses are doing so well, and I just get pulled in all these different directions. And so that was one of my learns from Q1. So a learn is not a failure, it's just an opportunity for growth and to be curious. And so something that I learned in Q1 is that let me explain. I'm going to say it and then let me explain it. Okay, so I am a better mom when I work. And I say this because I did not have childcare on Mondays and Fridays. I had 2 out of the 5 work days of the week. I did not have help at all, not from anybody. We don't have any family close by. My husband works full time. I have a very flexible job, arguably. So I thought, okay, we have 2 under 2, and I'm going to make this work by cramming as much as I can into the 3 days a week that I do work. And then I'll just, stay home with my kiddos on those 2 days. Well, that turned out to be so difficult for me, mostly because I was just so burnt out. Because if you think about it, it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I have the kids for 4 days straight with no break. A little bit of a break on the weekends with my husband, but that's like not a true break because there's 2 kids. You're like, it's 1v1, not 2v1 like it was with my first, right? So there's not that much of a break unless they both take a nap at the same time, which is very unlikely. So all that to say, I really found it so challenging to be so pulled towards what I identify as my career and my purpose in life, both as an entrepreneur and as a mom, because I always knew that I wanted kids, but I also always knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. In fact, I actually knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur before I knew I wanted kids. There was a season in life where I was like, do I want kids? It lasted only like a year. And then I was like, nah, I want kids. But I know it's not everybody's journey. And I also know that being a stay-at-home mom is not everybody's journey. And I think that's the case for me. I want so badly to want that life. I want to want that kind of life. And I just don't think that is for me. And maybe it's just because of their age and they require so much right now when they're this age and they're this, teeny tiny. And maybe that will change later on. I don't know. I should ask some moms that I know with older kiddos, but that was one of the things that I got really curious about, that challenged me. And I learned that I need childcare 5 days a week and I need a little bit of a break, and that's okay. So that's what I did. And starting the week that this goes out, we're finally getting more childcare, which is just so, so nice. And I'm literally so excited. I can't wait. So that was a big thing for me. So now let's talk a little bit about what's coming in Q2. There are 3 main things that I'm really focused on. The first thing I already told you about, which is a price increase before the summer hits. The second thing I also told you about, which is up-leveling our membership. And the third thing, I'm really excited. I've already done this 4 times now. So for a month, for 4 weeks. But it is something I'm calling the Monday morning huddles, because I have been realizing over the last maybe like 6 all-team meetings. And well, it's not an all-team meeting. It's just for the estheticians. So my meeting with the estheticians that I have monthly, I was finding it to be something where there were so many disconnects between not just me and the team, but them with each other, because we weren't all getting told the same information at the same time, and then something would change, and then the information would change, and then it was just this game of telephone that just didn't work out well. And then we would spend the 2 hours that we had together just making sure we're all on the same page verbally, and it could have been an email. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, that could have been an email. So I have heard it's been suggested to me that I start doing morning huddles, but I don't have the capacity at this point in my life to do a morning huddle every single day, right? But I do have capacity now to do a Monday morning huddle to just start off the week on the right foot, get everybody on the same page. My goal with these, because I'm a talker, that's why I love doing the podcast. I'm a talker, and I know that if given the permission, I would talk for like 30 minutes straight on these things. So the goal is keep it short and keep it packed full of everything that my team needs to know as a whole I give myself 5 minutes. It's typically around 7, if I'm being completely honest with myself. So it's something that I've started doing. I've done it for 4 weeks now, and I absolutely love it. I cannot wait to do it. I do it on Fridays, and we use Slack to communicate. And so essentially what I'm including in here is the goal for the month, the goal for the week, where we're at currently with that goal, and any information that I would find helpful to them. And it's for the team as a whole. The entire team sees this, and it's a way for us to all be on the same page and know what's going on in the business behind the scenes, so that on our team meeting, our monthly team meeting, the estheticians and I can just focus on trainings, and we can just focus on honing in our skills and learning from each other. And they can make suggestions like, hey, like something I learned at our last team meeting is that we want to try out some different hard waxes for face waxing. And so I was like, okay, I don't think I would have learned that if we hadn't gone through and done some hard wax training with them all together. And it was so fascinating because between the 4 of us, we were able to apply everything that we learned and everything that we know as a whole. And we were able to create this one singular, really awesome method on how to do something with hard wax. And so I think at that time we were training for Brazilian waxing. And so that is just it's been so powerful already. And I'm really excited to do the debrief at the end of Q2 for you to see if this actually did work out the way that I had envisioned it, and what I changed, what I kept. I'm really just trying to keep my whole team and I aligned, informed, and really set up for the entire week. And that way we all know what's going on, and it's honestly, it's simple, it's boring on purpose. And like, nobody likes to feel chaotic, and nobody likes to feel like they don't know what they're doing at work. Everyone wants to do a good job. At least the people I hire, they want to do a good job. I want to do a good job. And so that's why I started this. And they can ask questions in there. They can clarify. I give tiny little tasks sometimes, or I like inform. Like, for example, the other day we got a check from a client that had the wrong date on it. It was from like 1988 because she was I actually messaged her. I was like, girl, what is going on here? And she was like, oh, I wrote a birthday card to my cousin who was born in 1988. I was like, oh, that is funny. But anyways, that's how that happened. But we couldn't cash the check naturally. And so it was in that team huddle that I was like, hey, esthetician and my business assistant, I'm just letting you ladies know this is what happened. It happened with this client that, esthetician 1, that's the client that she usually sees you for that service. I'm just letting you know XYZ. And then for anybody else that gets this problem in the future, you're going to know how to handle it, right? So now we're all on the same page about the same thing. And if esthetician number 2, 3, or 4 goes into the cash drawer and sees, wow, there's this check here. Why is it still here? This doesn't look right. It's not supposed to be here, blah, blah, blah. They're not going to be like just confused. You know what I mean? So Q1 is done. And whatever it looked like for you, whether it was challenging, good, or something in between, it happened, it's done. And now the question is, how are you going to build Q2, 3, and 4 in such a way that you look forward to them and you're not trying to work frantically? I do have a few episodes where I go over how to do a annual calendar, like an annual marketing calendar, and that is something that I heavily use. I'm actually playing. This is actually another thing I'm realizing in this moment. This is a learn from Q1. So typically at the end of Q3 in September, I will do in my annual marketing calendar. And it's just an annual calendar in general for the following year. And I always have tried to do this in the slowest part of the year, which is typically like February, March, or August, September, right? So those are the two for my spa, are the two slowest times of the month for me. And so I will try to do my annual calendar. And I have found it to be so difficult because I think what's going on, and I think this is just because I am slowing down from like the insane summer speed up basically that we get, because I pushed myself so hard during the summer. And this is on purpose, right? I know that I'm doing this because I know that it's like just the big summer push. And by the time the slow period comes, I'm just so like, I just need a break. And so what was happening, and this has happened a couple times, the last maybe like 3 or 4 years now, I've noticed, wow, I'm not actually getting my annual calendar done at that time. I'm actually starting to get it done more in February and March. So my slower times for that year. So what I actually did this year in Q1, I played around with doing my annual calendar in February, at the end of February, beginning of March, before spring break. I actually did my entire calendar for everything. And it was so nice. I was feeling so inspired because it wasn't insanity. I wasn't coming off of this insane summer. And then I also wasn't like overwhelmed with anything else going on at the spa because it was a little bit slower, right? So I was able to do the entire marketing calendar, and it was so nice. And I have it it's actually written on my wall right here in my office, and I can look at it at any time and just see everything all at a glance. And it's so nice. And so that is something that, although it felt like I was failing at the time because I hadn't gotten I had a marketing calendar completed, but it just didn't feel good. Like, it didn't feel inspiring or exciting, and I didn't look forward to it. I was kind of like, meh, whatever. It was done. I did the work, but I wasn't in the right headspace. And so I did it again in February, and I updated it and I upgraded it, and I feel so good about it now. And so because of that, I think I'm going to actually start doing my annual calendars during that time for that exact year. And then what I'll probably end up doing is I'll do the whole year. For example, I did all of 2026, and then I did January 2027, so that I can then I did January and February 2027 because they're both the same. I usually do the same thing in January and February. And so in February, when I do this again, that's what I'm doing. I'm still doing 12 months of the year. I'm just doing it differently now. And that feels so much better for me. That's when I actually end up doing it. So that is everything. I also really want to leave you with some questions that you can ask yourself if you want to do a debrief as well. So I kind of focus around a few core topics. I focus around money, team, my own personal capacity, and then the business itself. So first, about money, did I pay myself every single month this quarter? And if not, which month or week, because I pay myself weekly, did I skip and why? And if there's a good reason, which there usually is not, I kind of figure out what's the learn from that, right? Did my revenue go up, but my take home stayed the same? So I told you personally with me, my revenue went up. So I actually took home a little bit more. So did my revenue go up? My take home stay the same? And what does that tell me? Was I surprised by any expense this quarter? And did I see it coming? For my team, who on my team stepped up this quarter? And did I tell them? Who on my team is coasting? And have I addressed it with them, or am I avoiding it? Which I'm a big avoider, so that's why I say that. Am I doing tasks that belong to somebody else on my payroll? It's interesting because sometimes I'm like really stellar at this, but there are still some things that I'm like, no, I could do it myself. And I think just letting go of those small things it can be difficult, but there's such a small little blip that I feel like, nah, it'll be fine. But this one always gets me when I ask myself this. And then for my personal and like capacity, I ask what drained me this quarter, and is it still on my plate going into Q2? Where did I show up as the best version of myself, no matter what version I was at that time? So like right now, I'm a spa coach. At my spa, I'm the owner. At home, I'm a mom, a wife, a friend. So did I show up as the best version of myself? What did I keep saying I'd get to, but never got to? So that one, it always hits home for me because I'm very goal oriented. So I have like a million things on my to-do list, and I've already done 3 million things. I have a joke where I say I have 16 things on my to-do list. I've already done 27 of them. So that's how it feels sometimes. But there are some times when I say to myself, oh, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. But then I never do. And then in terms of just the business itself, what is one thing my business outgrew this quarter that I haven't updated yet? So for me, that was our prices and the membership facial. So I'm going to be updating and upgrading those. What did a client say in a review, in person, or in text that I haven't acted on yet? And if I could only keep 3 things I did this quarter and had to drop everything else, what would I keep? And that's just because it's really important to keep in mind what's working and keep those things intentional and precious and make sure that those don't fall through the cracks. Because it's really easy when you know that something is working and to just leave it alone. And that's what you want to be able to do, right? But those things sometimes still need maintenance. You just need to check in, inspect what you expect, right? So you still need to check in on things, make sure nothing needs, some extra oil on the gears or whatever, and everything's still going according to plan. So, and I actually did check in on, so one of those things for me was my blog, because we get most of our new clients from SEO, and a blog is what helps with that. If you're not familiar with my boring SEO method, you can check that out. It's on my website, and it's also a podcast. It's like a podcast series. And I do that for my spa so that we can have a really great SEO. And I noticed that some of the blog posts had been falling through the cracks, and we haven't been uploading them as consistently as we normally do. And the reason why we have such great SEO is because we are consistent. So we need to maintain that. So it's really important to make sure that those things aren't falling through the cracks, because when they do start working well, we tend to forget about them. So there you go. Q1 is done. That's my debrief for you, and then what I'm planning on doing in Q2. And I really enjoy doing this style of podcast. So I'm hoping to do a debrief of Q2 and what to expect in Q3 and so on and so forth. If you like this, please leave a review and let me know. Also, if you didn't know, when you leave a review for the podcast, if you ask a question in the comment of the review, I will read it and answer it live. Or if you leave your email address, I can also send it to you privately in an email. And so just as like a thank you for giving an honest review. And I leave you with that, my dear spa owner, and I'll talk to you later. If you enjoyed this episode, then you'll really enjoy my free training where I show you the exact system that I use in my own spa to pay myself more. Head on over to amandaluisaconsulting.com/more to download today. I'll see you next week on Bougie and Boring.